Devo Springsteen, Good Music Family. My name is actually Devon, but for some reason people start calling me Devo. And then my man Consequence, the MC from Queens, start calling me Devo Springsteen. And whenever we ask him why, people be like, "Why you call him Devo Springsteen?" And he's like, "Cause he's the boss. He's the boss." You know what I mean? But but I think really it's because like I lived in the village and I party all the time. I know a lot of white people, so I think that's more really what he was talking about. So it just caught on, but I rock with the boss too.
All right, then how did you get started?
Um, well, I guess people know me mainly as a producer right now, but when I went to college at UPenn in Philly, I was a DJ, and like a lot of DJs,
Mm-hmm.
try to make beats. So I was doing my thing in Philly. I moved to New York and worked in some like management corporations, venture capital jobs, and eventually started. I wanted to get more into music. I started working with Kanye,
All right.
with Kanye West, but at the time he was a up and coming producer, and I just saw a lot of potential in what he was doing, and and I had other people, other friends that worked in music too, and and I felt that there was a lot of untapped talent around me, and I could probably get involved and help like bring it to the forefront and help monetize it. So I started working with Kanye as his assistant early on, before any record deals, and then just kind of grew as a producer um, and as a businessman and whatnot from that point, and helped Kanye grow his company. Then assigned John Legend to Good Music and helped John grow his company and that brand. And that's kind of where it started from, in a nutshell.
Yeah, kind of. It's like you just kind of started like I ain't no one and just working it around and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, but my whole thing isn't just like creatively. I mean, I try to be creative, but it's not just about like beats or whatnot, or necessarily about like artwork. It's about just the whole vision and the whole package and the whole offering, the whole experience that you have, um, like with an artist. And I think Kanye and John offer some of the best experiences as an artist. I feel like people look forward to Kanye's blog, what's going to be on there. Look forward to the artwork in his new album. Look forward to the show. Like, all these things that are around the artist make that experience, and I like to try to be involved in more than just the music part, and kind of help develop that experience.
All right. And what are some of your biggest accomplishments?
Biggest accomplishments, I think. Well, the whole thing with John Legend, I think, from going from uh, being a New York City local performer to being a multi Grammy winning artist, and my involvement in that, I feel really proud of that. I won a Grammy for Diamonds Are Forever, or Diamonds from Sierra Leone, 2006 with Kanye. That was a big accomplishment. Um, I think going to college and paying my way through college at the Wharton School was big, and it's not so it's not going to make the top of any blogs anytime soon, probably, but that's still something I personally feel is like a great accomplishment for me. Not just graduating, but like really when I paid off my loans like 20 years early, and I got the little statement saying like, all right, you fulfilled all your obligations, you paid off all your joint. Like that's when I really like, yeah,
I know it feels real good.
yeah,
Like I'm the man.
yeah.
Like shit. Oh man. All right, let's go back to what are some of your musical background?
Um, Man, I grew up. I grew up as an army brat.
Oh really?
So I was born outside of Atlanta, and I lived in Arizona and Germany and Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, all over. Um, so I really am influenced by like a more of a universal sound. I think I listen to a lot of Michael Jackson, a lot of George Michael, Diana Ross, Luther Vandross, growing up, and I'd also hear like German music, like like some country music. Like we're out in the middle of nowhere in Arizona, you hear that country music. So all that stuff kind of soaks in, and I think that it influences what I do now in terms of I think it's hard for me, harder for me to kind of get involved with an artist with a real regional sound, like a real New York sound or down south sound. But it's easier for me to get involved with an international artist or anyone that has a accessible universal sound. I think it's a little bit easier for me to get in that lane.
All right. I like that. So you already described your musical taste. Who are some of the people that you listen to or have like right now, somebody current?
Who I listen to now? Man, I'm trying to think of the last time I bought music. I don't remember the last time I bought music, but or even really the last time I really sat down and listened to a whole album. Although I'm trying to get into that, but I really like Drake. I think he's dope. I like Kanye. I think kind of biased there, but I can't say there's a lot of people who I'm really listening to now. I listen to the radio really, and I guess I'm too lazy to kind of search out music. I stay pretty busy, but I'm trying to just start to listen to music that I wouldn't normally listen to the whole albums. I've been listening to Caribou a lot, and Marla Joy, who's a Canadian artist. And I'm just trying to like CDs I haven't listened to in a long time. So old Beastie Boys, In Sounds from Way Out, the instrumental stuff. Just kind of pitting on some of this music, and I just go about my day with just like some background chill stuff. That's I'm trying to get various stuff in the background. But to answer your question, there's not a whole lot of people I'm really digging for these days.
Yeah, I know. No, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are some of your current projects you're working on right now?
Well, it's funny you should ask that. My main project right now is the group Riot In Paris. So their website is vivalariot.com. You can check that out. But that's kind of the main thing I'm doing. I'm kind of trying to transition out of being a producer, like a beat by beat, one-off producer, and I'm trying to transition more to like some type of new media branding production unit, as opposed to like a necessarily MPC, a keyboard production unit. So again, like with this whole Riot in Paris project that we're about to start putting out content for now, it's a band, but so much of the appeal of it, I think, is going to be in the experience. So even if you go to vivalariot.com, it's like unlike any other artist website, just like in how you interface with it. We're doing interactive video, like choose your own adventure videos. Well, where the viewer decides where the video goes. We're like making an album as a soundtrack to a movie, but it's a soundtrack to a movie that you already would like. So let's say it's a gangster hip hop album, and we make the album with great songs, but it's made to sync up with New Jack City, so that you turn on New Jack City, put on this album, turn off the sound to New Jack City, and then this is supposed to basically be kind of as a soundtrack to that movie. Now we're not doing gangster rap, and we're not using New Jack City, but that's an example of kind of the experience that we're trying to instill in people. So there's a lot of artists and a lot of noise. So I'm trying to like figure out ways to cut through that noise and make just like the freshest group where you're like, yo, well, they have a new video coming out. Can't wait to see this. What are they doing now? So our thing is more of alternative rock, hip hop type of vibe. But again, like I'm I'm more so than trying to make the music, which I did, trying to make like a new media movement really, and kind of change the way you look at entertainment. And a video doesn't have to be a 3.5 minute static piece of video footage. It can be anything. Well, why can't it smell different? Why can't it sound different, feel different? Like have different like dimensions. Be 4D. Why does it have to be 2D or 3D? So that's what I'm trying to do is kind of expand how we look at things. Um, and beyond that, I'm working with Kanye on something. Hopefully, come out later this year or next year. But this is more of a book. But I will. You'll hear more.
All right. Viva la France.
Viva la Riot.com.
Viva la Riot.com.
Let me get to this. I'm sorry.
I had a question though. There's like a like if you Google your name on just Google your name and it'll pop up the comment that you made on Twitter. I heard a Kanye West album.
Yeah.
It's inspiring. That's like all over the place. If you didn't notice, like.
Yeah, I heard about that.
What made it the reason that you would have to say that it's inspiring? Well, is you back on yet?
Yeah.
That's just my question.
I don't know, man. I think it's I think a lot of Kanye's particular content is inspiring, and it's funny. We were what were we listening to? It was some Young Jeezy stuff, or maybe it was Can't Tell Me Nothing, but something. I was like, man, you know what? This music, this Young Jeezy stuff, and your stuff is kind of similar. Like, there's a certain something where you get pumped up with it, and it's like it's kind of inspirational. And he was like, yeah, that's the whole thing. He's like, Young Jeezy is like motivational, thug motivation. My music is inspiration. I was like, totally right. But yeah, as far as that particular comment, I had no idea. I literally was just making some random comment. I had no idea it'd be retweeted so much and be on all these blogs. I didn't even say anything. I just said it was inspiring.
Like good promo.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, beyond that, I don't know.
Any questions again?
Yeah, actually, I have a question. Taking it back to the mixtape, right, that you're doing, because I remember hearing one of your mixtapes too, and there was one where you broke down the elements in composing some of the records that you did, and I believe some of them also included like the samples that you, I believe that you might have used, or whoever was assisting you in composing the record. And how would you say that in terms of like your creative style? Because when you're a creative, you're constantly evolving in terms of what you're producing. So how would you feel like compared to at the time when you were composing or putting together that mixtape? How do you feel that you have evolved since then?
I think now I am trying to make more global commercial music, but having like a hip hop element to it. Right now, I'm trying to sample less, trying to use more stuff and whatnot, but more guitars and pianos. Those samples kill you, and just like because I've done that, and I feel like artists don't want to have samples for the most part either these days. So I'm trying to get away from the samples. I'm trying to have more of a rock influence now and stuff. More guitars, and I think that there's a lot of like kind of fake rock elements, like a lot of like kind of urban songs. They'll have like a distorted guitar in the back, or keyboard guitars, or even like party like a rock star, all the way up to like all the way turned up, or the whole Lil Wayne Rebirth thing.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a grasp of rock music. I think coming into the urban
Mm-hmm.
scene, but I'm like fully like we're making rock songs.
Mm-hmm.
We're a little bit less guitar heavy, a little bit more drum, like a little bit harder drums, but and that's what you'll hear with Riot in Paris, especially, is that's kind of the evolution that I've taken,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of try to think, all right, what are we doing musically? All right, so where should that end up like 2-3 years from now? Let's try that. And you never know; it may or may not work, but we're getting pretty good response, from our records. Um, yeah, so that's kind of where it's evolved. So I'm just trying to make more global music that people can sing along to in France.
Okay, cool.
That's all the questions. All right. Yeah. You have any word of advice? Any like aspiring singers, rappers, dancers, anybody?
Yeah, I mean, I think that relationships is half the battle. Relationships. You got to network, and the marketing is half the battle. There's a lot of. I know, like your cousin is crazy vocally. I know your boy down the block is the best rapper in town, but that's fine. But the other side, the image side, the marketing side, whatever, has got to be there. Like someone's got to be responsible for that, and that's got to be popping. It's got to be consistent with the music, and it's got to be exciting. Um, and again, with relationships, like you can't be in your bedroom making joints and thinking that's gonna fly. You got to be out like making friends and stuff. Two people may have the same hotness of beats or raps. This one is more in the mix. That one's gonna go. So, you know, you got to really work hard. This business is working hard. Work.
I can get a drop of weandnow.com.
Yeah, that's has a similar technology, and it's a Samsung commercial on YouTube. But I don't know. I haven't seen the video you're referring to.
And how was that? Is it very challenging? Like with your new approach?
Um, it's challenging, but it's fun. It's challenging because I'm kind of like, yo, this video, choose your own adventure video thing, blah, blah, blah. Yo, we're making this match up with this. Yo, but the website is sightless. There's no content. It's all John. I think people just don't get it. They're like, why? What do you mean? Like, why would you do that? My guy makes websites. Just holler at him.
Yeah, they.
But you don't get it. What we're doing, and a lot of that is kind of the stuff I learned from Kanye, really, and hopefully stuff that people can learn will be put in a book and people can learn. But it's fun, and I think that the same way that we try to put out some of these artists, including John or Estelle. There's a lot of like reasons why John Legend is not supposed to work. A lot of reasons why Kanye West and pink polos is not supposed to work, or wearing a bear costume on your album cover is not supposed to work. But at the end of the day, it's fresh. But it wasn't fresh before. Believe me, they were not saying this stuff was fresh as it was kind of happening. But the more that people just responded to the artist and the art and the work, then okay, this church guy is kind of hot. All right, this English girl with the accent and the strange key. Okay, yeah, I guess she must be hot. People are fucking with it. So I feel like I know when I did the Diamonds Are Forever, like that beat. So I mean, there's other little moments when you make something, you do something, you're like, wow, this is going to be special. And that's kind of the reason why I got into music, because I felt that about my roommate John, felt that about Kanye, and I think that what's happening now, like the stuff that we're doing now, I feel the same way about it.
All right, yeah, this brings me back because I think a while ago it was like, did you have to do a mixtape like in '04?
I did a couple of
Bacardi.
mixtapes with Bacardi.
Yeah, it's like I wrote this down a long time ago, and I was going through my notes.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was some other DJ. So now could you break down the element of the creative behind that mixtape?
Um, was this the raspberry one? It was like pink colored or
Um,
green colored.
I'm not sure which one.
Okay, because there's two. I did one for Bacardi apple and one for raspberry, and yeah, I mean that's just basically something especially when good music was like really kind of coming to the forefront. A lot of people were aware of it,
Mm-hmm.
so the brand wanted to get some of that buzz, which I think makes sense because good music and especially Kanye is like it's clean, it's respectable, it's fly, it's progressive, it's party,
Mm-hmm.
somewhat urban, sophisticated, um, it's credible. So I think all those things apply to what Bacardi wants to do, especially with their new flavors. But so I think you're talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, probably with GLC and Consequence, and that was really just trying to put together like different flavors of good music, like some real hard stuff, some soft, almost gospel stuff. We had Kanye in there. We had some far out like Sarah stuff. So just trying to put like a balance of the different feelings and moods that would make up good music, make up this collective. But at the same time, um, again, I wanted to make that progressive as well. Um, so, um, so there's video footage on there of I think there's a drive slow video. There's the making of the mixtape, and like they videotaped me as throughout the process of making this mixtape. And then there was another video I think for Grammy Family or something like that. And when you get the mixtape, if you put it in your computer, it actually you can watch all those videos of the making of. And then there's a party I had at my crib, and that was like Bacardi sponsored, and Bacardi's all over that. And so again, that's just. I actually was talking to someone earlier today about this at my school. 'Cause I go to Columbia Business School. But how pitting um, the videos on that mixtape. When I just wanted to make it fresh. Whatever we do, we're gonna spend extra money or whatever to make it fresh.
All right.
And so, like, how much would it cost me to put these videos onto the mixtape and put a menu on it, or whatever? And the lady's like, "Oh yeah, it's free. It's all data. Just put it on there." And I'm like, "Man, why don't record labels put videos on it, or a video game, or something like charging $15 for a CD, and there's so much empty space on it, and you're competing with people are trying not to buy CDs, like they don't see a reason to pay for music, and you can't give me a CD. You already made the video. Just put it on. It's free. Just put it on there."
Yeah.
So I wanted to offer more. Wanted to offer more for less with that, and then part of it also we sent out raspberry colored vinyl to all the top DJs across America. Good, the bad, the ugly, vinyl, see-through raspberry. So that's pretty cool.
I like that concept.
Yeah.
I like that creative concept. Did you come with a whole creative concept for that, or it was like you and a whole bunch of committee?
Usually, what I do is I have one or two creative people with me,
Mm-hmm.
um, or working on it on any project with me, and then we'll kind of bounce ideas off of each other. And at the end of the day, it's my responsibility to make it come to life. But I'm trying to think of someone. I don't know for that project. There may have been someone from the agency involved. But even example for this Choose Your Own Adventure video, like I'll ask my creative people like, "Yo, what do you think? How can we make it some totally new shit?" And the guy be like, "I've been thinking about like a Choose Your Own Adventure video where you can like pick where it goes." I'm like, "Yo, that's crazy." The first thing you think is you can't do that, and then when I think that, I'm like, "How are we going to do that?" and then from there it gets to like, man, and then I'll kind of like help shape the aesthetic. Uh, like, man, it's got to be like lo-fi. You maybe need to have like 3 or 4 different decision points. And this is kind of like, this is what you want to have, like lots of tits and ass, or lots of, whatever it is, and kind of help shape it from there.
I like that kind of stuff. All right, so who would you like to work with in the future?
Mm, man,
Or have you worked with everybody else you wanted to work with before?
I think that if I was just starting as a producer, and you said who would be your dream artist you would work with, um, I would say on the rap side, Kanye West and JayZ. I'd say probably Britney Spears, um, who I worked with. I'd say on the R&B, I'd probably say John Legend or Usher, and I worked with John. Haven't worked with Usher. Um,
Why those people you name?
I think those are some of the most important um, and timely artists of each genre. Britney Spears just like, oh, she's Britney Spears. Maybe now I'd say Lady Gaga, maybe. But I think all those artists I named are important today and relevant, but still classic. Like they will be played 10 years from now.
Yeah.
So Aretha Franklin, like that's if you just said you produce anyone, I'm like Aretha Franklin, Marvin Gaye. You can't produce Marvin Gaye, okay? Aretha Franklin, I did that. So that's a large part of why I kind of want to go on to the next level of shit, um, because I have worked with like a lot of the people that I would, in my wildest dreams, would never think I would. Nas, Common, yeah. So trying to, as opposed to hoping someone comes to me and they're like, "Yo, let me get a working on an album. Let me get a beat." Kid Cudi, I would like to work with
Kid
Kid
Cudi.
Cudi. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as opposed to someone coming to me and saying, "Yo, I'd love to get a beat from my album," or check out, we can hear some beats from my album, which is dope. I'd rather someone come and say, "Yo, I have this album coming out. Can you help me make it hot? Help me get it hot." The whole shit. Um, so that's kind of what I'm working on now.
See, that brings me to my next question. It's like, explain to me the difference between a producer and like somebody who just make beats. Cause
Man, there's different levels, man. I think it's how deep you get and how committed you are to the the craft. Um, I'd say most people out there, you get Pro Tools or Logic or something. You're a beat maker, learning how to technically create songs or tracks with the equipment given. I think when you become a producer, you're getting more into learning how to create a vibe, how to create movement in people, how to create like an artist. A producer a producer will bring something out of an artist, and then and there's all types of levels within that producer or whatever. But then I think you go a step beyond that, and then you get into real producing, real Quincy Jones producing, real Kanye West producing, where you're in charge of the project musically, and even some other aspects of it, and you really like shape the whole artist tone and message for that project. So I think something to really look at that with is JayZ and Kanye, and the Blueprint 3. Kanye is the executive producer on that, and I don't know what that is, but I was talking to Kanye about this. I'm like, what do you think about this artist? what if they had beats like this guy? Well, you know, what about that? And he's just like, man, you can't get those beats. Like those are his beats. Like if you want that, you gotta go get it. You gotta go get the guy who put that together, and that's how you get that. It's not just the beat; it's the whole swag.
The whole vibe.
And he's like, that's why JayZ, when he won the Grammy the other week, he's thanking people. He's like Kanye West, executive producer of it, because that's how important it is. And now, you know, I'm just listening to the radio today, and they're like, yeah, JayZ won his first Brit Award. JayZ, his first #1 album or whatever, and it's a function of the executive producer.